Kids' art has a lot of joy in it, like unbridled joy and energy that I think can sometimes get lost as artists age, and I realized for me that young energy was what I wanted to be a part of. My name is Nate Kirley. I'm an art educator here in Madison. I'm currently teaching at Chavez Elementary. I have 3 students whose work is in the show, but for me personally, Young at Art was a show that kind of helped guide me into becoming an art educator. I remember the piece of art that I think made me stop and then really start looking around. We were out to dinner and walked in here, it's open all the time. And I remember there was like an apartment building of dioramas that were set up in one of the displays. And it was like time where there was like a dumb King Kong movie coming out. But this kid, he had a big gorilla in his apartment and it said King Kong is back, and like the gorilla was popping out of the diorama. And it was the first time I was like, I'd thought about like that as a job opportunity, and then just realized like, oh, this is something I want to be part of. Art education is important because the arts teach about multiple pathways to a goal. And I think for a kid to understand that there's not always a right answer also implies that for a kid that there might be an answer out there that they get to discover in the process. Young artists have all the doors still open, right? And they are a lot of times very much willing to take chances and experiment. And I can see even in my young age group, as they get older, they're starting to close more and more of those doors and saying like, oh, I can't do this. This is not for me. Part of my job is to make sure that they keep those doors open and path them on to middle school, because there's so many opportunities there. And especially for kids that might struggle in other areas academically, finding a place where they can call home at school is super important. I think when kids fall in love with art at a young age, it provides a lot of opportunities for connections, both with their peers, but also with family. When my students have been exhibited here, they have shown just an immense sense of pride and joy. It's always fun to see them bring in families, connect with families. For the families too, it can be an affirmation of like, oh, what my kid is doing is valuable. Like society values this. Putting their work in an institution like the Madison Museum of Contemporary Art shows them that, the outside world values what you're doing, even if you're 7 years old. This is seriously one of my favorite art events in Madison. And even if I wasn't an art educator, I probably would never miss this show. It's still just a huge sense of joy and awe at what these kids do.